How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Back again with another Monday motivation. And the topic for today is actually going to be called Pay It Forward. The reason that being is because I got Daniel Moore here with me today again as a special guest.
And what is this, week 5?
This is, week 5. No, this is a week 4. But we're going to go ahead and take the topic of Pay It Forward.
Okay.
And pretty much I want to hear about sometimes that you've paid it forward. Cause sometimes I do the courtesy of opening the door for somebody, or I end up.
So what's the difference between just general courtesies and paying it forward?
It's actually not really much of a difference. It's also not much of a difference because everything's connected to kindness. Being kind. It costs nothing to be kind. A lot of the times, honestly, at the gym, the reason why I don't like doing it no more, and it's because of the fact of how they react to it. But I've heard, you want to make somebody's day, smile at them. So I try it at the gym sometimes. There's a girl passing by or somebody passing by, and if I look at them, if we make eye contact, I give them a little smile. And a lot of the times, the reason I stopped doing this with the girls is because
the reaction
is like here we go again. He wants something with me just because I give him a smile. Not every guy wants something with you, first of all. Second of all, I'm slowly finding the love of God right now, and I'm all about myself. So I could care less about the opposite sex right now. But it pays nothing to just give them a smile, and that's why I stopped giving a smile, because I'm like, I'm giving them the wrong message just by being kind.
Just by body language.
Exactly. So I might as well not even want to do it.
That's a hard part for us. I mean, whether you're spiritual, whether you're not, body language is such a flimsy way of reading someone. Because a lot of people have faked their body language or manipulated the way that they come off. And a lot of the times, fake it until you make it. Smile even when you're depressed, and I have a resting face that people say I look disgusted a lot of the time. And I'm not good with showing
emotion, or...
Well, not just emotion, but facial expressions. So I'll be in thought and I'll forget that my face gives off expressions based on my thoughts and not necessarily based on whatever's happening in front of me.
Yeah.
And I have a brain that likes to run twice as fast as certain people. So I might be on topic 6 while they're on topic 3, and I'll make a facial expression and they think I'm reacting to them, but I'm actually thinking about something else that's not even part of the conversation yet.
Yeah.
So I think paying it forward with bodily language is very much hard to explain.
It is.
So when we talk about pay it forward, there was a movie that came out, and it's you pay it forward, and then 3 people pay it forward, and then 3 people pay it forward, and eventually it reaches the whole world. But the idea of it has become almost under the blanket at this point, where people no longer want to say it because, one, when you do say it, they think that you're only doing it because someone else did it to you, or you only did it because you owe it. So once again, you owe it or you owe it. And when you don't say it, they take it as genuine gratitude or genuine, appreciation. I've had people, I've gone to the dollar store and I've gone to buy a homeless person a drink. And as I'm in the line to check out, I've had somebody else be like, yeah, put your stuff on the cash register and I'll pay it for you. And I'm like, well, it was for a homeless guy, but sure. And then they'll be like, so do you want anything else? And I'm like, well, I guess so. He's like, yeah, grab whatever you want. So originally I was going to go give someone something, which is a pay it forward, right?
Yeah.
And then before I could even give my pay it forward, someone else already paid it forward to me.
That's amazing. That's some great karma right there.
But that's how God has always been in my life. It's not that I needed a drink or that I even wanted one, but I'm not going to block someone else's blessing because your giving is your blessing. When you give, and I'm not saying that you have to give to a church, I'm not saying you have to give to a charity, but God doesn't give you finances for you to keep and worry about your bills and be anxious. In fact, the Bible states actually quite the opposite. You are given for your giving. If you give, you will receive and reap twice as much, if not 4 times as much as what you originally had. God will bless you through opportunities because you were willing to give up the little. He will give you a lot.
That makes sense.
When you invest, you're putting away a little bit of money, right? And you're hoping that it will accumulate over time. Okay, God says, test him in this. When you give to the Lord, he will pay you back. And I'm not saying, oh, test me. No, don't test me. I'm not good with money. But God says, test him.
Yeah.
And when you do, and I was against testing God. Let's face this. I will never test God in anything. But this is the one aspect he says, test me. And that is in your giving. You cannot outgive God. And I'm not saying you need to give to anybody. I'm not saying that you have to go to your local church. I'm not saying you have to go to your local gym. I'm not saying go to your local bum. But the fact is, we are not blessed just to be blessed. We are blessed to be blessings to others, so that way we can actually increase the value of our society. If I take all the money in the world and I put in a bank account and you never see a penny of it, what good am I doing for the world? In fact, I'm going to die tomorrow, and that money is going to be divvied up to the state.
That's true.
So what good does it do? It doesn't do anything. But I can live off it. Well, yeah, you can live off it because you only live 3 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
But God says, if you give what little you have, you don't need to be anxious about anything. And I've seen people literally sow their rent. I have seen people sow their car payment. I have seen some ridiculous things that make no logical sense, and yet is still worked out.
It just goes all into that area of faith.
And that's what it is.
You're throwing your pickles in a jar that you don't even know exists.
Of throwing your cucumbers in the jar and not realizing they're going to become pickles.
Oh, there you go. And then when they end up landing in the jar, you're like, I did not think that was going to happen. But that's exactly how God works. Because as we speak now, like, the reason I like paying it forward and living with kindness is because of the fact that God's blessing me with little stuff here and there as far as my recovery and as far as getting closer to the next level in life, you know? And the most I see that, the most I know that paying it forward is paying off, because he's paying the kindness that I'm doing towards others. He's paying it in a positive way of what I need.
He will always repay it. He will always repay it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I have been kind and still been unjustly accused, and I have been a blessing to others and still been stabbed in the back. But even then, you turn the other cheek. Even then, you let it go. And if they continue to do it, you walk away. You don't get back at them. You don't return evil for evil. That is not what your purpose is. If you are doing a good thing and you're not taking advantage of them because they're taking advantage of you, it doesn't mean that you do it back to them. Oh, they stole my cigarette, so I stole his alcohol. No, Stop it. Knock it off. Seriously, if you are being kind to someone and they stabbed you in the back, you forgive them. But if they do it again, move away, walk away. There is plenty of opportunities for you to get your affection elsewhere. You do not need to put yourself in an abusive relationship with anybody, and you don't need to be used by anybody. Let it happen. It happened. Move on. Don't stay with a grudge. Don't stay expecting them to pay you back. And when you lend money, stop lending it. Give it. Because don't expect them to repay. If they say, oh, I'll pay you back, then okay, that's on them. Let their word be their word. And you're only as good as your word. If you lie to me, then I know that you are not of your word, and therefore you are not of God.
That's true.
What is yes, and no is no. Anything that is not that is of the evil one.
Which I like that you said that, though, because I think about it and I'm like, instead of expecting to get paid back, you live with one more piece. If you're like, hey man, here you go, $20, and they'll be like, oh no, I'm good. Be like, no, just take it, just whatever it can help you with, you know.
And it goes both ways. Don't block someone else's blessing. Exactly. If somebody sows $20 into you and they're like, hey, here's $20, I want you to get some YouTube information or YouTube gear. Like, oh, here's $1,000. Get yourself an actual camera. Stop using your phone. You know, guess what? Don't block that blessing. Don't say, oh, my phone's good enough. Yeah. Because they are going to be paid back by God because you're doing God's work with it. It's not a matter of, oh, I'm going to give this guy $50 so he can go smoke meth and die. That's not the mentality you have to have. Yeah. When you give to the homeless and you say, this man is holding a sign that says, I'm hungry. Don't think for a freaking second. It doesn't matter. It does not matter if he's lying. Let his word be his own contract. If he's lying and he's taking money for something else, that's his own bidding with God. That is not on you. Yeah. If he says, I am hungry, and you give him $50, okay? He may get clothes, he may get himself a pillow, he may get himself food, okay? Yeah. That's not for you to judge. You did what God told you to do.
Yeah, God's going to end up judging him.
God judges him, but God rewards you.
Exactly. That makes sense. It is true. But that is Anthony and Daniel Foward. Daniel Mo.
Paying it forward.
That was paying it forward. And again, you guys already know. Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much. Anthony and Danny Mo.
Comment down below. We'll read it, and we might actually do a Q&A, and we'll answer some of your comments on this video. What is your questions on love? What is your questions on paying it forward? What were some of the other videos we just did? My life. What do you think about his life? What tragic events have you gone through in your life? Comment it down below, and we'll try to do a video where we talk about it. And maybe we can give insight, and maybe God will give us some discernment into your situation.
Yeah. What he said.